Hello viewers, this is Dr. P. Mary Anupama, Head of the Department of Biochemistry, here with the topic Components of Urinary System. The contents of this talk include basic introduction to urinary system, followed by components of urinary system. We'll be studying about kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder and urethra in detail. Urinary system is also known as the excretory system. It is an essential organ that is responsible for removal of metabolic waste from the body, mainly the nitrogen waste like urea. It helps maintain homeostasis, and this alone will regulate the internal body conditions. So you see that it balances water as well as electrolytes level in the body fluids. It regulates the chemical composition of the body by removing harmful or toxic substances. It conserves all the essential substances, right from water to ions, which are required by the body according to the conditions. We shall see the following organs associated with the urinary system, that is kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, urethra. Kidneys. So these are the primary organs which are responsible for the formation of urine. We see that these are bean shaped and we have a pair of structures associated with the urinary system. These are located on either side of the vertebral column and you find them in the abdomen. Coming to the position where they are present between the thoracic and the lumbar vertebra, that is T12, that is thoracic vertebra 12 and lumbar vertebra 1 and 2. The left one, it is slightly higher than the right one. And these kidneys, they are covered by a fibrous capsule, which we call it as the renal capsule. And we have hilomere, a notch that allows entry of renal artery and exit of renal vein and also our ureter. Now let us see the internal structure of kidney. Kidney, it consists of three main regions. One is the renal cortex, next is the medulla, and then finally renal pelvis. The renal cortex, it is the outer region which contains glomeruli for filtration. All the glomeruli maximum they'll be present in the cortex. Filtration of blood, it starts at the cortex. Next is the medulla. This medulla, it contains medullary pyramids. These we call them as medullary pyramids that have the tubules and the collecting ducts. The medulla, it mainly helps in concentration of the urine. Then we have renal pelvis. Renal pelvis, it mainly collects the urine through calyces and then it passes on to the ureter. Here we have the minor calyces which start from the pyramid, which integrate to form the major calyces, and then the renal pelvis which empties its contents into ureter. The basic functional units present in the kidney, we call them as nephrons. These are the structural as well as the main functional units of the kidney. Each kidney, it consists of around 1.2 million nephrons, and these are responsible for filtration of the blood. They are responsible for water and mineral reabsorption as well as secretion of toxins, which are the steps of urine formation. Typically, a nephron, it consists of the following parts. It starts with the renal corpuscle. The renal corpuscle, it consists of glomerulus, the bunch of capillaries, and the Bowman's capsule. Then the proximal convoluted tubule, followed by the loop of Henle. Then the distal convoluted tubule. Then the collecting duct. These are the components or the parts of a nephron. The key functions of kidney. These include, the main one is the excretion of nitrogen-based substances from the body, like urea. It is responsible for regulation of water and electrolyte balance. It is responsible for maintenance of pH, and it also controls blood volume and pressure. Next component of urinary system is the ureters. Ureters, these are very thin and muscular tubes which start from the kidney. And each ureter, it is around 25 centimeters long. These start from the renal pelvis and extend up to urinary bladder. They transport the urine from kidney to the bladder, and the movement by which it is transported, we call it as the peristalsis. The peristaltic contraction, it pumps or it sends the urine from renal pelvis to bladder. So this movement, it prevents the backward flow of urine and thereby ensuring unidirectional flow or one-way flow. Next component is the urinary bladder. This bladder, as such, it is hollow and muscular sac, and it acts as a temporary reservoir for the urine. It is lined by stretchable transitional epithelium. So the bladder can store urine until elimination from the body. So the bladder, as it accumulates urine, it expands in size. And when you get the stimulus or the reflex, okay, the body gets the stimulus or the reflex saying that the urinary bladder is full, then the people will be expelling the urine through urethra, and this process we call it as micturition. Now coming to the urethra. Urethra, it's a very narrow membranous tube which is extending from the bladder to the outside of the body. It conducts urine to the exterior, and it has a sphincter of muscles over here which regulate the flow of urine, and it also allows voluntary control of urination. Coming to what is micturition. Micturition is nothing but, we know that it is the process of urination. It is a process where urine is expelled from the urinary bladder. When the urine accumulates, as the body or the kidneys produce urine, it travels to the urinary bladder and the bladder starts accumulating it. So once it accumulates, what happens is this bladder, it also stretches and a pressure starts getting exerted. As the bladder fills, a pressure starts getting exerted. So this pressure, it stimulates the stretch receptors, and this reflex, it sends a signal, okay, the signals, and the signals, they are sent to the spinal cord, and then the brain, it triggers what is known as the micturition reflex. So now when the micturition reflex comes, the next step is the bladder has to contract and the sphincter has to release. So here the urethral sphincter or the muscle, it relaxes and it opens. So now once the sphincter opens, the passage is now open and the urine flow starts. So now the bladder empties and the pressure inside this is reduced. And now once it is totally emptied, micturition is completed, then the bladder is again ready to collect some more urine. That is, it is ready for the next cycle. So here micturition is again under voluntary control. So the brain can delay it, can delay the initiation. When appropriate signals are reached, then the sphincter opens and then we go and urinate. That is what is micturition. So here there is a clear-cut coordination of the components. Kidneys, these are filtering the blood and they are producing urine, while ureters, they transport the urine to the urinary bladder. And what is urinary bladder doing? It is storing urine temporarily, while the urethra, it eliminates urine and ensures that the wastes are removed and internal balance is done. Let us summarize what we have studied. We have studied about the urinary system. It is essential for our survival and it contains the following components: kidneys, ureters, bladder and urethra. These organs, they all work together to remove the waste. They regulate the body fluids via the functional units called as nephrons. The urinary system maintains stable internal environment for normal functions. Recommended books for further study include Guyton and Hall Textbook of Medical Physiology, Essentials of Medical Physiology by K. Sembulingam and Prema Sembulingam, or Human Anatomy and Physiology by Elaine and Merab et al. Or you can study Review of Medical Physiology by Barrett, Susan, or this is the Indian other one, Textbook of Medical Biochemistry and Physiology by M.N. Chatterjee and Rana Shinde. Thank you.